Episode 20. She's back off holiday. And she's brought somebody back with her.
I'll put her in my suitcase. She's come back.
Well, I'm not as far as you.
Yeah. So anyway,
She's under a rock.
we spoke about bringing people onto the podcast, and I've found the perfect first
Aw.
guest.
Am I your first one then?
Yeah,
First ever
amazing,
guest.
love it. Absolutely. So let's introduce you. Nicola does life coach. Oh, you're a life coach,
Yeah, so life coach.
And I don't know if you've gathered that me and Zara could do with some
Life
life
Yeah. 100%. So we think it's a good.
So I thought,
It's
you
a
know
good
what?
one.
Not only could you life coach us, but you could life coach.
Definitely, yeah.
So what is it all
Everybody
about?
So I'm a life coach, like I'm an empowerment coach, basically.
Oh, really?
So I started off as like a confidence and mindset coach, but then I've kind of like gone down the route of being an empowerment coach because I want to help basically single women who want to live in like a single, happy single,
Yeah.
independent life without like feeling like comparing themselves to everyone and
Having
They-
kids,
yeah, and,
and
like,
getting married.
not being where they thought they would be at this age, basically.
And that's us.
Yes. Well, this
Yeah.
is me,
Yeah.
like a couple of years ago, feeling like I was comparing myself and all that jazz. Then I had my own confidence coaching from, like, I did my own course with someone else. And it's, like, changed my life.
Oh,
like,
really?
literally changed my life.
In what way?
Just, I got to know myself, like, I know
Yeah.
who I am, I know what I bring to the table. Like, before I was, like, questioning myself and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, this is who I am, this is what I need. And it just gets you to know you.
And I think
It
that's,
gives you that space.
yeah, and I think that's dead important, isn't it? Because then you're not. We talk a lot about the external validation.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think you're looking for that external validation then. But I don't think, like we try to get across on here is if you do that work on yourself of understanding who you are, what you bring to the table,
Yeah.
then everything that happens around you
Exactly.
for you, rather
Exactly
than
that.
thinking.
And it's like, that's exactly what it is. Like, it's like the law of attraction. I don't know if you do much about that.
Yeah, come on, go for it. Tell us about the law of attraction.
So the law of attraction is basically like you attract what you put out into the world. So if
Right.
you
Yeah.
think positive, if you think negative thoughts about yourself, you're going to attract negative people, negative experiences and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if you think positive stuff, think positive thoughts about yourself, you're going to attract more of what you want.
I think there's some truth in that.
Oh, it's absolutely, it's a game changer. It's an
is.
absolute game changer. And that's what my like program is all about. So we get to like the bottom of what your like limiting beliefs are about like yourself. And you don't necessarily know them until you like start diving in.
I feel like you're looking at me like you're digging all
No.
over.
You're gonna have to dig.
There'll be a lot of digging here, find anything. But no, do you know what? I'm so here for that. But like, so what got you to want to do that? So did your life change, or did you just get to a point where you thought, do you know what? Like, something needs to give, something needs to change. I need direction.
So I was very much like single. So I've had like relationships in my 30s, which for one reason or another didn't like work out. And then I just got to a point where I was like, I can't like cope with this like lack of confidence and self-doubt and questioning myself and all that stuff. So I had the confidence coaching and it changed my life. And then that was it really. And I never really thought about being a coach because that was like a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago it was. And then last year, so I'm a lawyer by day.
Really?
Yeah, so I've been a lawyer for 10
I
years.
need some advice. I'll ask you later.
Bloody hell, this is a
Yeah, got to the point where I was like, you know, when you're just not like fulfilled. And,
Yeah.
like I was just getting up thinking, is this going to be forever?
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do that. And then I'd never even thought about being a coach myself, even though I'd had coaching. And then this ad popped up on Facebook about becoming a coach, and I was like, oh. Like, and it just took me by surprise. Then I started looking into it a bit more, and then this time last year, this was.
Oh, really?
So this time last year, I was literally thinking, like, shouldn't I, like, can I, like, just change direction and all that?
Yeah.
And then here I am. The podcast with you two talking about it.
That is incredible though. So did you do it part-time?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a side hustle at the minute. So hopefully I want to I love my job, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm very grateful for my career and I love what I do, sort of.
But it doesn't fulfill you, and that's okay.
Because since I've been on this wellness journey,
Yeah.
I've just found myself wanting to do it more.
And
And
it
it doesn't feel like a job.
Yeah, being more creative. Since I've found myself a bit, I'm dead creative.
I don't want to say I'm creative. I'm not very creative at all.
Like the podcast, I would never have said I would have done this when I left Aaron.
No.
After 15 years, I think for me, I remember being in a place where I was just lost. I didn't even know. I was just existing in a house with my 2 children and my partner. And I had that thought. I thought,
Is this it?
Is this it? Not in the sense that I was, you know, my children are everything, but within the relationship, I thought, can I have this forever? And I think you get to that point, and some people back off at that point, don't think I'm
Because
too...
it's scary.
Scary.
Change is scary.
Scary, honestly. And you know what? I don't know. I almost felt like, I mean, it sounds a bit bizarre, a bit guided. Like it felt right in what I was doing.
Yeah.
Got to a place where I knew I had to make the decision. And ever since then, like, I got a little house, you know, and it flowed as hard as it was.
Aligned.
Aligned, here we are. We're aligned.
Oh, we're aligning with the universe.
But for you, Zara, your life, like, changed, like, absolutely 360, didn't it?
Yeah.
And you were put back down, thrown in the air.
On the floor. Still am, to be fair.
Yeah. but that's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
as well, I've said it before, it was the best thing that ever happened.
You learn from those things, though, don't
Yeah.
you? Like the shit, actually.
Yeah.
You learn so much from that.
Yeah, I didn't realise how shit it was until he left. And I was a bit like, why was I even still in that relationship?
and
And
so loyal
just,
to your marriage.
yeah.
And
And I was just, I didn't know who I was. And now I'm just completely different. And again, it's just the journey that you have to do to...
There's a bit around, like, you just kind of go with these things, though, don't you? You don't necessarily, when you're in, like, relationships and stuff and you get comfortable and all that, you don't necessarily think about, do I want this?
No.
You know what I mean? You don't think about what you want. You just like, sort of go with it sometimes.
Yeah.
I think we do as women sometimes, as mums in life. We just think, do you know what, like, I don't know, you were so thingy with your marriage, you married him for life, and that was it. So you do just know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Whereas I just knew it was such a pivotal moment, because you come to your late 30s and I think, and you've got your house and I had the children and you know, and I was like, no, I knew there was different. I knew there was a different direction for me, and I made that decision, and I don't think I've really ever looked back.
No.
And so now the podcast came about because we're a bit like, we want to empower women, or just anybody, men, to just absolutely be the best version of yourself and have a fulfilling life.
It's funny you say that about men, because I've had quite a few men reach out to me about the coaching.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
In the same situation. And I do promote, like, helping single women, but actually confidence coaching can be for anyone, like men, and it doesn't have to be single women, but that's who I'm sort of targeting, because that's what I'm really passionate about, because I'm in that situation, and I was like there comparing and all that jazz, and then I've sort of transformed myself. Do you know what I mean? I know how to get someone there.
Do you?
Yeah.
So do you know, so if I came to you, little old me, and I'd just left Aaron after 15 years, and I was in despair, what would your first piece of advice be for me?
So that's another point. So coaches don't give advice.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Did you guide me?
So we help you get to where you want to go yourself.
Wow.
So because if I give you advice, that's based on my circumstances and experience. It might not necessarily be the advice for you.
Yeah.
But if I ask you questions to help you dig in and get there yourself and trust your intuition, you'll start trusting yourself more. You look at what you want, and there's power, like there's real power in that.
I've noticed my intuition's getting better. The more I'm healing and doing the work on myself, the more I am guided by it, and it's quite powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm quite good with energy, with people as well.
Yeah, you do go places like getting bad vibes. I am getting a bad vibe, bad energy.
Leave them at the door.
Goodbye.
Honestly, like, I know, like, if I meet somebody, I can feel that negativeness.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You must have like a bit of a spiritual.
Do you think?
Some people are like that though, aren't they?
I think maybe I'm on a spiritual journey.
You might be. So we don't like give advice, and we also don't look backwards. So it's not therapy. So therapy like looks backwards in terms of like healing.
Yeah.
Whereas coaching's all moving forward. So we might look a bit about like what's happened, but it's all about what do you need to do now to get to where you want to be. So it's all about like actions that like align with where you want to be.
I'm giving you next one.
We're there.
Why can't we record the set? Good.
You could be like a whole podcast.
Well, crowns on by the end, like queens.
Absolute
We are.
crowns.
So yeah, that do you know what? That is absolutely. I'm so here for that.
Yeah.
I think I need it in my life right now. But so how are you finding your 30s? Because we had a bit of a brief conversation about the dating side.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm so fed up with online dating. I'm not here for it anymore. Like, I'm sick of it. Sometimes I'm in and out. I'm like, I have good energy with it. I'm like, yes, come on, like, I can do it. And then I'll just get dead bored. Like, I'm so sick of like the same soulless chat.
Yes.
It's just like the same thing. And I know that's like the nature of it, but it's not, you lose that like connection, don't you?
Yeah.
And I find that dead hard.
I find it like in the past, you talk to somebody, connection. Oh, where have they gone fall off the face of the earth? What are you on there for?
I can't stand ghosting. Like,
why?
be an adult.
Being an adult.
And
I don't think.
Just be honest.
Have we talked about ghosting? I'm not quite sure if.
You know
we've
what? I don't
talked
riles
about-
me up.
Like,
Really riles me.
I think because I'm good at communicating. If I would just say to you, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're all in it to like. You know, there's not a problem. Like, if you're not feeling it, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I can take it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just
Remember when I went on the date? So I went on a date with a guy, and I'd met on a dating site, and we'd been talking, and we got on really, really well, and then we met here. So he drove sort of like 2 hours to meet me. He was tiny, and he just spoke about himself the entire.
Oh, I hate that.
The whole day. I've never eaten with steak so much. I had indigestion. It made me bad. I got in the car, I had to go get some wine, didn't I? I was like, I was like, I'm off all day. That was quite, I think after, so I was in a relationship after my husband.
Yeah.
With Jamie for like a year, and then that was probably one of the first sort of dates. I think after that, and I was like, I can't do this. It's not the one, but I just messaged him after saying thanks for the meal.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is perfect. That's exactly how to
I
do
was
it.
just like, thanks for the meal, but I think that we're not, both of us aren't vibing it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're not my type. Like as if he was letting me down.
You're not my type.
You're not my type.
I was
that's like, okay. I was like, take care.
But that's your sign though, isn't it? That the fact that he said that to you is not your one.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I just
you've got to know yourself so well in dating.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to stand, because
soul destroying otherwise.
It really is, isn't it? So like, I know I've got a friend who, she built a connection with somebody and really felt like they had a connection, and then he just never replies, and it's like, how do you not not take that personally?
Yeah.
So I was talking to her about you've got to try look within.
Yeah.
And show what you bring to the table. That's triggering you in a way that you're feeling now not good enough.
Not good enough. Yeah. It's hard when you are dating and you get knocked back, and it is about that sort of, I know
picking yourself back up.
Picking yourself back up, because
60,000 times.
Yeah. We do, like, we have dips, don't we? So it is very sort of like, sometimes we're fine about it, and sometimes there's just one person who just absolutely triggers you.
Massively.
And you just don't know how to, well, we do know how to get back, but it just takes...
that's the thing though, isn't it? It's having those like tools and strategies to know, and that's kind of what we work on in coaching, like, it can't all be positive all the time. Like, I know we talk about like positive energy attracts, but you can't, life is like life lives.
Yeah.
And shit happens, so it's about having like the tools and knowing how to pick yourself back up, isn't it?
Yeah. And is that so I think I've taught myself, so when I was, before I had the boys, I went to counselling. I have a counsellor. I dip in and out now when I need it. And she's taught me, like, unravelled a lot of my past. But also I think for me is I've sat and I have given myself them tools. Because I remember being so young and vulnerable. Somebody would dump me and it'd be the end of the... I couldn't move off the sofa.
Yeah.
But it's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
But now, if somebody finishes me, I just stay on the sofa for 5 minutes. And
then you're back up.
No, but now I think, like, because, again, it's about knowing actually, well, what's meant for me will never leave me.
Yes, exactly that.
I keep saying this to myself now because, so for me, something really strange has happened. I've never met a guy with no red flags. and I've met a guy with no red flags.
All right, okay.
And it's early doors, it might be nothing, but I want to talk about it because when you've never had that, it's so hard to accept. Even if nothing becomes of it, I've said to him, you've given me faith in meeting somebody decent.
Yeah.
But when you've been hurt and when you've never had that, how do you accept that? Because then you're vulnerable to being hurt. But you've got to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
To find what
To
you're
find
looking for.
it. So it's like you're putting. I saw a thing the other day where it said you're giving somebody the chance to absolutely destroy you by giving yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm up for it.
I'm like, Sarah, stop being so stubborn all the time. Right, you just allow, but that is
But
just
then
you know though, don't you?
Yeah.
That's a you issue, and you've just got to allow it in because you've never had that. You've never had someone stand up and show up for you.
No. Well, and all I want to
when
do is
someone just push it
away.
away.
So, but I've been really good,
Yeah.
and I've had the conversation with him about it because I think that's dead important as
Yeah.
well. But I'm so here for the real life issues of once you've been hurt, how hard it is to then let somebody back in, knowing full well that it could absolutely batter you.
Yeah.
Again, so then I've said to myself, well, actually, no, Sarah, because you've always got yourself to fall back on now.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Like, you're okay on your own.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point,
That's
isn't
the
it?
whole point.
You've got to be okay on your own before you let someone in.
Yeah, and I have, but then I can feel the old triggers coming back because the times you've been hurt. Well, no, Sarah, we aren't here no more.
Yeah.
You're okay.
But how important that you can notice those triggers though, and you're like, yeah, I've got it, and then you can do something about it.
Because last year, I'd be on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Journey.
Pick himself back up. Zara would be peeling me off the floor.
How did that, when you had that conversation with him, how did he like respond to that? Because I feel that's a big...
Absolutely fine.
That's amazing then. That's a good, really good sign, isn't it?
I said that. I was like, if he's willing to take it at your pace, it might take, you've just got to let your boundaries down. And it's not about him. It's about you just accepting that you are worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone standing up
Yeah.
for. It's just that you've never had that, so you don't know how to accept it. It's always been you. And you've just there's always going to be people who are willing to step up for you, and I think he is, and he is.
I think it's really early days, and I don't want to listen to this and think back I won't marry him.
She'll be in a white suit next.
I'll be everywhere.
We always say about
he
the
does listen to this.
He does.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that. I think what I'm saying is how refreshing to meet a person who is just a lovely person, and if it doesn't work out for us, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But I tell you what, I'm here for.
But it's
a man with all green
you
flags
as well. I think things happen for a reason. So even if they didn't happen, it's just lessons.
Yeah, lessons, exactly that.
That are allowing you to accept.
I'm like inside. I'm like healing.
What's
because I'm like, I don't want to pull back. Old Sarah would pull back.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I'm just sitting and enjoying it. That's a huge
That's
step
it,
for
enjoying
me.
it though, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a massive step for me.
Yeah.
So anybody who's been hurt and is struggling, yeah, it is a struggle, but just keep going.
Keep going.
Plough through the cement.
What do you think about like having... Because what I find hard is I used to have this like tick list of like, and everyone has a bit of a tick list, don't they? But I think what I'm trying to do now is focus more on how they make me feel.
Absolutely.
Coming away from the date, how did they make me feel heard, like understood, comfortable, all that kind of stuff.
That's a good thing.
Because actually, the checklist stuff, it doesn't.
No, it's how they. I mean,
It's how you feel, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you know what? Like there was a guy not long ago. If you could look back on the podcast, I said that he actually does it for me. And do you know what? He's the biggest red flag going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he did it for the old Sarah.
Yeah.
And actually, it was a big lesson for me that actually you did it for the dopamine, the rush, but actually you're a bit of a knob.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's that, isn't it? It's that.
So I went on a couple of dates with someone who was a bit of a lad, who I do kind of, it's always an attraction to a bit of a lad.
It's like, come on.
Got a right cheeky smile.
Yeah.
You know, all that kind of stuff. But conversation, like, there's no conversation.
No.
He was like, never asked me anything.
No.
And it's like, that stuff's so important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like surface level.
Yeah. But then you can get carried away with the
The
like
rush.
the chemistry and the rush, and
I
mean,
think
I
that's
say
where
chemistry.
I am.
That's where she
That's
is.
where I am.
But that's
because,
okay.
Yeah, who I'm dating is just when I think about like, right, what do you? He's got no interest in. And I want like deep conversations
That's exactly
with people
me, yeah.
as well. Like I know about what things trigger me, like, and what things.
And does he do that? If you now, because you've been dating for a while, what do you know about you?
No.
So I've said to her, "What are you doing, Zara Oliver?" Because
What are you doing?
I don't know.
But
I'm
I
just
think
going with the flow. I keep saying. I'm
does it
just
make you
going
feel
with
good?
the flow. Yes, but on a
Not like a service.
Like we have a good time when we're together.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is very sort of like we have a good time, we have a laugh, but really,
What's your gut saying?
I don't know what it's saying. It's saying go with the flow.
no, but I think maybe that's the phase of being single you're at. Because I remember just being at that. Do you know what? I'm just.
It is what it is.
It's a different season. We're all in different seasons.
Different season, yeah.
What season I'm in? So I'm thinking. I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say something. It's gone.
No, I think I am like that. I'm not looking for. So I've been away with my ex-boyfriend this week.
Have you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So me and Jamie had booked the holiday with my kids, not his kids, prior to us splitting up. When we broke up in January, so we've been like, we're friends, but he blocked me on social media, so we can't see any of my social media stuff.
Really.
So when we're on holiday, I was like, can't tag Jamie in, he's blocked me. He's like, I haven't blocked you, I just don't want to see like when you're going on dates and things like that.
I mean, that's fair enough, isn't it? I would do the
get
same.
that, but I would have done it 8 months ago, not like now. But yeah, we've had a really good time.
But there was nothing.
But just no, I'm just not, and I think that's it. Do I actually want someone, or am I just in my sort of going with the flow, having some fun when I want it, and I'm at that point.
Is there a saying though? I always said to you, this is what I was going to say, is if you let go of what's not for you, can't. What's that saying?
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking of, and I can't think what the phrase
if
is.
you're keeping, so for him, if he's not for you, you're not allowing what should be
exactly.
for you. So I always think actually maybe this time really, if he's really not bringing anything for you,
is
there might be someone else who is for you
that
you're blocking because
take that time out and have Vex King book and off you go. But there's no harm in still doing. I always think doing the work on yourself and still dating.
Yeah,
and you don't see him an awful lot anyway.
No. It is very much, but you know, like just talking to people. I've said like I've been talking to people on holiday and just like, oh yeah, I'm going to come home and I've got 59 boyfriends. And I've come back and the boys have gone, feel like I've lost my left arm because I've not had them away for so long. And I'm just like, I want to just do my own thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like prep's like, oh, when can I see you? When can we do this? When can we do that?
But you're like, actually.
Yeah, back off.
Yeah, because what are they bringing for you? And I
because
think,
if I wanted to, then I would.
Yeah, you've got to listen to what you want to do and what you need.
Yeah, rather than what they need.
Yeah, exactly.
And what they want.
Reacting to what they want.
Yeah.
So I talk about putting yourself on the pedestal.
Yeah.
And actually, like, I think we talk a lot about boundaries as well within dating. So, like, when I first left Aaron, there was not a boundary in sight. I was just running riot. Give me a red flag any day.
Let's see how red it can get.
Whereas now, I've learned about men, the right men stick around with you when you put a boundary in place. The wrong men disappear.
Yeah.
And like, a man will respect you for the boundaries as well.
Yeah.
Like, but that's taken a lot of time.
And it shows confidence, boundaries does,
Yeah.
having boundaries. And I feel like if you don't know how to be on your own, you let any old, you know,
you do.
You accept bad behaviour for fear of being on your own. Whereas if you're okay on your own, you'll only want what you want.
What you want.
Or what you want.
I'm so here for that.
Yeah.
So we're here for strong, powerful women.
Yes.
Who are picking each other up off the floor half the time.
One of the things that I like want to get across is like, because I'm all for like, you know, female empowerment and all that in my like coaching. Is it still recording?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm all for like women empowerment and all this and helping women to be like secure on their own. But I don't want that to get across that I don't want to meet someone, because I absolutely do.
Yeah.
But I'm all about
We've
just
said
doing the
this,
best with
yeah.
what you've got. Like, I'm happy on my own.
Yeah.
But I'm,
You're not one of them women who's like, I don't need a man. Actually, do you know what?
yeah.
I'm so
I actually,
excited.
I want to meet someone. I'd love to meet someone.
But
But I'm not about compromising. That's the point.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And you know,
Yeah,
will the
100%.
right man come when the time's right?
Yeah.
That's what I always think. Like, I'd ask the universe. I'm all over man.
Crystals and all that.
It's in the kitchen. Excuse me, can you send me a man now? I am ready.
She said, I'm lying on my sunbed yesterday morning and she's going, I've asked the universe to send me this guy and he has sent it me, he's listened.
That's it.
I don't
And
know.
I was like,
It's
yes.
strange because, I mean, God's definitely going to think I'm stalking him.
No, it's
So
not
I
like
honestly
that.
I said like, because I've been single since October 22.
Mm.
So I feel now I'm ready for a nice man to come in my life. They say it out loud, don't they, to the universe?
Yeah, affirmations,
Just
yeah.
imagine me. Excuse me.
I'm ready.
I'm ready for a man. Just bring him into my life, a calm man, a safe love, somebody who was just going to be there.
Yeah.
And
But that is a law of attraction, though. That is like you putting out what you want and the positive energy and all that kind of stuff, believing it'll happen. There's science behind this.
is
Have you
there?
ever looked into it? I'll send you a podcast. That I listen to.
Really?
There's so much. It's actual science. It's not just like fluff. Because I used to think it was all like,
Yeah.
you know, fluff, and I didn't really know how it could work. But there is science behind it. I'll send you a podcast.
Well, I'm going to start just shouting things out all the time then.
Affirmations. I'm all into affirmations.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what we like build into the like coaching program.
So they're the sort of things like in the morning when you talk to yourself in the
Yeah.
mirror.
So like I'll get up and I'll say like I'm good enough, like I deserve love, I'm lovable, and all that kind
You
of
say it
stuff.
out loud?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I never used to. When I first started, I was like, this is weird. Because it is awkward at first.
Yeah.
It's not what you used to,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
But like, and this is what we started in the coaching program when I was being coached. But then it just becomes
It's
natural.
like, why shouldn't you say
Yeah,
it
like
out
my
loud?
affirmation alarm goes off because otherwise I would forget. So my affirmation alarm goes
Really?
off at
Have
8
you got
o'clock.
that alarm?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
wow.
goes off and I'm
love
like,
that.
say out loud. Sometimes I'm just like, snooze, but...
And do you think what? So what do they say that does?
So it's like changing your energy, basically. So it's telling your brain that, because you might have these like limiting beliefs about like you're not being good enough or whatever. So if you're constantly saying, I am good enough, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, you're telling the brain, you're like weakening that thought, that process that says
Yeah.
you're not good enough,
Yeah.
and strengthening the one that is like, you are good enough. Because your thoughts aren't you.
No.
You can change them.
So
And that's what we do.
I love that because I feel like I've got two versions of myself. So I've
Yeah.
got this Sarah.
Mm.
I call her the powerful Sarah.
Yeah.
The one who
The podcast
absolutely-
Sarah, she's
Podcast
called.
Sarah, who absolutely knows what she deserves and is going to have everything she wants. But then I've got inner child Sarah, who's still really vulnerable and needs that work and that nurture. And I do have to nurture it. I mean, that people don't. It sounds ridiculous, but it's so true. I have to nurture it, and yeah, so I have to do a lot of work on that. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
her, I have to say. So for example, when I'm feeling a bit, she's feeling a bit, she's feeling a bit needy. I have to say, no, we're safe.
Yeah, we're safe. Yeah, you've got this.
Yeah, because otherwise I'd be reacting to situations as her, not as podcast Sarah.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
every day I'm challenging them thoughts, but I don't say them out loud. So maybe I need to start
Yeah,
doing
it's
that.
so
Yeah.
much more powerful. And in the mirror
Really?
sometimes, if you can say it in the mirror. Look in the mirror and say,
Roy next door be wondering
I
what
know.
I'm doing. Why is Sarah talking to herself like
She's talking to me. Send me a good man.
We'll
We'll be like, knocking on the door.
86.
do you say, in your affirmations though, do you say what kind of man you want?
So
You need
I've,
to get
I've only done it
You
once.
need to get descriptive.
So I did said, well, that
Who
could
do you
well
want?
go one way or another. So
Depends what mood she's in.
stop it. So I've only ever done it once, and I don't know why I did it. I was just like, I was in my kitchen. I was like, I am ready for a nice man, a soft, love where I can just be safe.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be hard for me to accept it, but it's what I deserve. I've never had anybody, a man, properly show up for me.
No.
And
No.
why shouldn't I have that?
Oh, absolutely.
Why
you deserve
shouldn't
that.
I have somebody down on one knee giving me
A Santorini wedding.
Santorini wedding?
Is that what you want?
No, I just want just a nice man, but I would like something. I am materialistic.
She'll be doing that. She'll be doing that.
Yeah.
Let her meet the man first. Then she'll be going. Maldives wedding, Santorini wedding, hen party with the girl. But make sure you're descriptive.
But you've got to start doing it as
Yeah,
well.
I'm all about the affirmations.
Yeah.
Like they've changed that was the biggest part of my coaching, building them affirmations in. And I 100% believe it now. When I used to say I'm not good, like I'm good enough, it used to make me cry. Because I didn't believe it at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's
And
it,
now I'm
isn't
like,
it's
fucking
like,
good enough.
oh, I'm saying it, but do I believe it?
Yeah.
And
But it takes time.
It takes time to actually then start
because we've been
believing
thinking
it.
like a certain way all our lives.
Yeah.
And now we're all of a sudden saying something different. Your brain takes a while to rewire that.
Yeah. So you've got to, even though you don't believe it, that's okay to just
keep going.
Just lie.
So like that's what
to yourself. Keep lying. Just keep lying to yourself.
That's the power of the coaching as well, because it's like accountability. So we all know like the things that make you feel good, but we don't always do them.
No.
And it's like, but the accountability comes in with the coaching, because it's like there's WhatsApp like check-ins and stuff, and I'd be like, have you done this? Have you done that? But like a PT, like how to go to the gym and get fit and strong. But like a PT provides that accountability, so that's what coaching does really.
Oh right, okay.
I think
your own little cheerleader, I'd say it is. That's what it is, yeah.
I think it's absolutely incredible, and like, so what's it called? What are you called?
So Nicola Cooper coaching.
Nicola Cooper.
Well, I know I'll just change it actually, called Coaching with Nick, because I feel like that's a bit more informal.
A bit vibey, isn't it? Yeah.
And so we're hoping this is going to be the big hustle. I think you're
I really hope so, because it doesn't feel like work. I've never not liked TikTok. I've never got on that bandwagon.
Come on, get on it. It's the place to be. We're on it. I mean, what could you ask for? We've got 819 likes.
I don't really get how TikTok works. I'm a bit behind the times of TikTok.
But I think that's the place to be.
Yeah, true.
And I think like what you bring is incredible, because I don't think a lot of people in the 30s there's a lot of people who just don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
And they have no idea, and us being we still are that, and I'm okay with my journey. I always think wherever I am in my journey, I'm okay with it. I'm not where I want to be, and I'm okay, and that's a good part. Accepting where you are, like you know what, like this week I have struggled a bit, and that's because I'm triggered, and I'm triggered because somebody's entered my life who's really nice and calm, and my nervous system's going.
This isn't familiar to me.
This isn't a red
I don't
flag.
know.
And but there's a truth there. That is what my body's doing. So I've all week then had to challenge that. Actually, you don't need to pull back. You are safe. And it's changing the mindset after 38 years. Yeah. My mindset of 38 years, I'm trying to alter. And that is damn hard work. But do you know what? I know that the outcome will be definitely worth it, because I'll be the higher version of myself.
Can I ask you a coaching question now?
Yeah.
What have you learned about yourself on that journey that you've been on?
This journey, the whole journey. So, God, this might get deep now. So, I remember little girl Sarah, teenage Sarah in her 20s, completely lost in trauma and grief, and never knew who I was, always told to fit into a certain box. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't become who you want, and that was like hammered on me, and I think it's hammered on
a lot of people.
Yeah. And I had to make a decision at some point in my life to change and to deal with what had happened, and that took me to counselling, and Alison Hollinshead changed my life in so many ways. You know, I grieved for my dad that I lost at 12, but I grieved at 28. And once that grief had lifted, it was almost like it was the start of something else, start of unravelling parts of me that have sat inside of me for all that time. that was a turning point for me. And you know what? It's such an incredible journey, the hardest journey you will ever go on, to unravel parts of you that you didn't even know existed. The main thing that I've learned is I wish I hadn't wasted all them years of just like not thinking I was good enough, or I am everything and more. And
absolutely, cheers to that.
And like, I remember, this is why I do the podcast, and makes me quite emotional, is like, I aren't little Sarah who can't have anything. I aren't that girl who gets cheated on, or I pick myself up. I aren't. I'm here and I'm ready to live a life that fulfills me and my children. And anybody who doesn't want to join me on that's okay. Exactly. So it's a journey for me of self-worth. I had no self-worth. Didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know I'd let anybody cheat on me and I'd stay with them because of everything that had happened to me. And you know what, like, it's incredibly powerful, the journey of becoming her, becoming this, because people say sometimes, I said it last week on the last podcast, so you post a lot of pictures, but nobody knows what you've been through to get to her. For me to get to this point. And that's why I do the podcast, is no matter what we've been through, there is different, there's different out there for us. There's different out there for, people who just don't know a way. There is a way, and there really is. Like, on paper, I perhaps shouldn't be doing this, but I am, and I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of anybody who chooses different. So no longer trauma used to define who I was, and then I made a decision that trauma was never going to define me.
But now you wouldn't have be where you are now if you hadn't have been gone through all of that.
Absolutely. But you know what, and I do a lot of writing. I write a lot about who I felt like, who I was, and I'd like to write a book, like, and write it all down, because you know what, like, if I can empower one person, anybody, just to say, do you know what, you can do it.
And you've got so much experience as well, like, you can use this is where you are now, you can use your, like, trauma and your experience and how you got over that to help other people.
And that's what I want to do. The podcast come about, because even though we have a laugh and we absolutely love it, there's a deeper side to it. Is actually, for me and Zara, the times that, Zara will openly say that when Dino left, there was no way out.
No.
She didn't know a way out, and through working on ourselves and working together, I suppose, is that you do find a way. And that I didn't realise how important inner work was. I didn't realise I had this in me. I didn't realise I had a home within myself. So the Welcome Home book we talk a lot about is, instilling the fact is that you've got everything inside of you.
Yeah.
But why aren't we teaching young girls in schools and boys that actually, so I work, I don't know, I can't say where I work, but the job that I do is I, work with children, and I instill that so much in the job that I do. Why aren't we teaching it in schools and showing
they
people?
Don't need this external validation from other people.
An example of this is like really triggered me this week. So I'm like in like a hiking singles group or whatever, and someone posted about like needing because that's what I love, like hiking and being out in the outdoors and all that. So they posted something around need a man with a van or something, a camper van or something, and I was a bit like, you need I was like, you're teaching, you can go get a van yourself. Yeah. And I don't know why it triggered. I know it sounds daft, but like, I was just like, this is the kind of stuff that's teaching kids that you need a man to like have the things you want. Yeah. And I know like it's money and all that, but like
there's a truth in it, and it's again, I can't watch Love Island anymore because I'm like, what are we teaching our generation about beauty? That it's all external, that the big tits and the big lips and that isn't beauty. That's the last thing that comes. It's what you bring inside. And like, I just don't, it worries me for the next generation of young girls thinking that actually a man, I need to look like this to be valued. But actually, honestly, any girl I meet, I'm like, it's not about that. It's about what's inside. So I wish somebody had told me as a young girl, as a teenager, Sarah, do you know what? You've got everything.
Yeah.
You've
got
taken me
everything.
to 38.
Yeah, but that's your time.
Yeah.
This is my time.
This is your
And
time.
This is where
We're
it's
in
at.
our prime.
Absolute prime. So,
Absolute prime.
the dating saga continues.
Continues.
Are you still on the sites?
So I've come off the site. I've started Facebook dating recently.
Oh, really?
Have you seen that? Yeah.
Was it good?
It's not. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I don't know if it's good because it's just like new.
New.
Fresh meat.
Yeah.
Not that we need a man or anything.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I'm out there, I suppose, dating, but I'm just not.
It's not your
Not
main
forcing
priority.
It's not. Yeah, I'm just.
'Cause I
I'd
think
love
that's
to meet
when-
someone, but I want to meet someone naturally. I think so. I followed this thing called Board of Dating Apps. Have you seen that? I'll send you the link later. But it's basically like a new thing where people are. It's like a group that are. It's meetups rather than apps. It's about. I think there's a bit of a revolution going on that everyone is sick to death of apps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like, there's
Just
lots
that
of like
keyboard
yeah
stuff.
back and
It's
forth.
like, oh, what you do?
Yeah,
It's like,
boring.
ugh. Yeah.
And then how do you be original? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what do you say
What
to
do you
not
say,
be
yeah.
that? So I think there's a bit of a thing around other ideas to meet people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to focus on. Like, how can I meet people in other ways?
Yeah.
Hiking
So that's why
singles.
you're hiking singles.
No, I
But
haven't been on one of them.
But I do think that did you?
I'm up for that, to be fair.
I think we
I like them.
I think
But
we
they
enjoy
are all a bit older, from what I've
it.
seen.
Who knows?
But it's like common interest, isn't it?
do you
That's
believe
what it
in
is.
the
Yeah.
string theory?
What's the string theory?
We love the string theory. Right, so the theory is that you've got a string attached to your love of your life somewhere, and eventually that you'll come together.
Oh, I absolutely believe that. But I also
What's
don't
it called?
believe
Is it
there's
called
only.
the string theory.
I also don't believe there's only one person for you. I don't believe in like soulmates. I feel like there's
Seasons.
lots. Yeah.
I think some
Yeah.
people come
Some
through.
people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
in your life to stay.
Yeah.
Some people are just meant
Yeah.
to give you lessons.
Give you lessons, yeah.
And
To learn your
I
things.
like the art of detachment. So like I don't put any pressure on. Like, so for example, this guy, I'm just dead easy going with it because I don't like it will be what it'll be whether I pressure it or not. It's like the art of detachment is just letting things be.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
people coming out your life as they should.
Yeah.
Because actually
Don't
it'll
fall-
work out as exactly how it's meant
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
So don't force anything because and we do talk a lot about feminine energy.
Yeah.
Sit back.
Sit back, let it
Keep sitting
happen.
back though, nothing's going.
Where are all the masculine?
You keep saying sit back. And like I said in one podcast, didn't I, about men should be the pursuers, and then I said predator, like the predators.
Men are predators. We were like, I don't think that's the word.
Anyway,
But
I
yeah.
think that is it. We've had our first guest. What a guest.
Loved it. It's my first podcast. Loved it.
Maybe you could have your own podcast.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I think-
definitely.
I think you should absolutely start something because there's a lot of people you could really help.
Yeah.
I think it's
think
good
so.
as well because when I came out of it, I didn't realise that there was such
Coaching.
things as,
Well, yeah,
as
I
this.
didn't at all. Yeah.
Like it would have helped massively. I've
Mm.
just kind of like I'm 3 years in now and still riding the wave.
Yeah, but that's okay.
But yeah, I think people come out and think, oh, I don't really know what to do. I've got to do this. I've got to do it on myself and all this. We read a lot and
I read a lot. Yeah,
podcasts and things
Yeah,
like that. We do a lot of that. But for other people, if they're not really into reading,
Yeah. And you can also fall into the mindset of just thinking, well, this is it. Isn't
this is it.
This
yeah.
is I can't change because this is just how I've been
Yeah.
raised
Yeah.
and how I've thought this
It's
whole
a
time.
growth mindset, and it is
Yeah.
like knowing that there's different, and that's why we're here. Anyway,
That's why we're here for
Saturday
it.
night. I've
Yes.
got a cup of tea, which is now cold.
We've got a wine.
We've got a
I
wine.
might go to the shop and get a bottle of wine.
Get a bottle of wine.
And we will
Be
see for
horizontal.
episode 22 who's going to show up next week.
And we'll also tag everybody's Instagrams and things in.
Thanks for having
there.
me. I've loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cheers.
Cheers.
let me get my cup.
Cheers.
Bye.